When a family goes through a high conflict separation, it really is like being lost in a storm without a map. There's just so much panic, so much reactivity, and everyone is desperately searching for a way forward. So today, we're going to dive into a system designed to be that map. It's a framework called CoTrackPro, and its whole goal is to turn all that chaos into some real clarity. And it all starts with this one core principle. Seriously, this is the foundation for everything we're about to talk about. See, when we're in that fight or flight mode, our brains are basically hijacked. So the very first step to solving any problem is to create just enough calm to actually think clearly. It sounds simple, but it's absolutely crucial.
All right, let's just picture this for a second. Imagine the constant stress, the triggers everywhere, that feeling that any little interaction could just explode. This is the daily reality for these families. It's an environment where it's incredibly difficult for anyone, parents, kids, even the professionals trying to help, to function at all. So what do these families actually need? Well, this slide really boils it all down. First up, they need to stop the panic. That's stabilization. Then they need new skills to handle the pressure, to regulate and communicate better. They also desperately need safe, predictable routines, especially for the kids. And maybe most importantly, all the helpers, the therapists, the lawyers, the teachers, they all need to be on the same page. Without these four things working together, families just get stuck, spinning in that chaos. And this is where the big idea comes in. CoTrackPro isn't just another therapy technique or some new app. A better way to think about it is like a shared operating system, right? A common playbook that everyone involved with the family can use to stay organized and focused.
The real power of an operating system is that everybody knows the rules of the game. By creating a shared language and a clear process, the therapist, the school counselor, the parents, they can finally stop working in their own little silos and start coordinating their efforts in a way that actually helps the family move forward. Everyone's rowing in the same direction. And here's the core process. It's a closed loop, so nothing gets lost in the shuffle. It starts when a crisis happens. That's the trigger. That trigger activates a pre-planned process. That's the work stream. The work stream then produces a tangible tool, like a safety plan. We call that the artifact. And finally, that plan is clearly communicated to the next person who needs it. That's the handoff. Simple, clear, and you can do it over and over again. Now, for this whole operating system to work, everyone has to be speaking the same language. So let's just do a quick run through of the four key terms you're going to see. First up is the role. This is just who is doing the action. It could be the mental health provider, a parent, a teacher. Everyone has a part to play. So what sets the whole thing in motion? That's the trigger. Think of it like the starting gun. It's that specific event that sends stress levels through the roof. A looming court date, a nasty chain of text messages, or a fight during a kid exchange. You've got to identify the trigger before you can tame it. Okay, so a trigger has been pulled. Now what? Well, now you activate a work stream. And this isn't about reinventing the wheel every single time there's a crisis. A work stream is a proven, repeatable pathway that's designed to solve a specific kind of problem. It gives you clear steps to follow when emotions are running high. Now, here's a crucial part. A workstream actually produces something tangible, something useful. We call this the artifact. It's not just talk. It's a documented support plan, a toolkit of coping strategies, or a set of rules for co-parenting. In a high-stress situation, this is something a family can literally hold on to stay stable. And finally, what connects all of this together is the handoff. This is how the system makes sure there's continuity. So the therapist creates a support plan, that's the artifact, and then formally hands it off to the school. So now everyone is working from the same playbook. No more families falling through the cracks. It's a huge deal. Okay, so now that we've got the lingo down, let's look at this from the other side. What does this whole operating system actually feel like for the professionals? The people on the front lines trying to help a family in crisis. I love this slide because it shows that this is really a two-way street. The providers, they bring their incredible skills. They stabilize, they build skills, they protect kids. In return, the CoTrackPro system gives them powerful tools, a better way to bring families on board, clear plans for what to do between sessions, and a way to actually track real-world progress, not just what's said in an office. All right, let's get even more practical. We've talked about the theory, but how does this system actually turn a moment of pure panic into a concrete, helpful tool? I mean, this is the key question, right? When a parent is totally overwhelmed and their child is in distress, what actually happens next? How does this playbook work in the real world?
Okay, look at this. This is the if this, then that logic of the system made super simple. If the trigger is panic and overwhelm, the first best action is to create a stabilization plan. The artifact you create, a concrete 72-hour plan. Or if the trigger is those escalating text messages, the action is to rewrite the message using a boundary script, and the artifact is the cleaned, de-escalated message. It's a direct line from problem to solution. And that artifact isn't just a document, it's a tool for regulation. And that, right there, is the magic of the whole thing. It takes the guesswork, the reactivity, out of a crisis. So instead of just flailing around in chaos, there is now a predictable, repeatable path to follow. It doesn't mean the stress just vanishes, but it means you have a clear plan for what to do next. Okay, so we've seen how this helps an individual family navigate a crisis. But now let's zoom out and look at the ripple effect this has on the entire community. And you can see that ripple effect right here. When you stabilize one family, it has this powerful, positive impact on everyone around them. For the child, it means a safer home and being able to function better in school. For the community, it means fewer crises spilling over into workplaces. And for the legal and social systems, it means less escalation and a lot more trust. And this really gets to the heart of it all, the ultimate why. This isn't just about managing one crisis right now. It's about interrupting these long cycles of trauma. It's about teaching skills that reduce that intergenerational harm and help build healthier, more secure attachment patterns for the next generation. It's huge. So the crucial takeaway is this. It starts small, with just one family learning the skills to regulate and repair. But as this quote so powerfully states, the impact is massive. Those skills create stability not just inside one home, but across an entire community. It's just a powerful reminder that building healthier families is really how we build a healthier world.